Hey there, welcome back to Art Attack Creations. In this video, I'm going to take a canvas and some acrylic paint, some pouring medium, a water slide, a bunch of epoxy, UV resin, vinyl, and some pieces of glass. That sounds like enough, right? Let's put those in a pot, throw some creativity at it, and see what we come up with. Stick around. All right, the first step in this creation is the acrylic paint pour. Now off camera, I've mixed the paints with a combo of water and pouring medium. As for the exact recipe, well, let's just say I don't know the magic formula and I can't exactly speak intelligently on this part. I'm still very much a student in the pouring world, so don't expect any pro tips from me here. I've sped up the video because honestly, watching it in fast motion is pretty cool. Now, I'm not exactly a master at this yet, right? My craft space, yeah, it's basically a graveyard of failed attempts at this point, but you know what? I had to embrace my ineptitude because, let's be real, I'm not exactly improving at the rate I'd hoped. For a while, this lack of progress was pretty frustrating, but then I had an idea. What if I could use a water slide decal on my failed pours? So I gave it a shot, and as you can see, it worked out pretty well. In the beginning, I used clear water slides and painted over the center of the pour with white paint before adding the decal. Does everyone know what a water slide decal is? I am so sorry for any new viewers here that may not know what those are. I use them so much on this channel, I forget, you know? Let's take 10 seconds just to go through what it is. It's basically this really cool paper that you can buy and print your own images onto it. Once it's printed, you spray at least 3 coats of clear acrylic sealer onto the paper to lock the ink in place. When it's ready, you soak the decal in water for a few minutes, then you carefully slide it onto your project, gently peeling off the backing. Smooth out any bubbles, let it dry, and bam! It's like magic. Whew, glad that's over. Missed my calling as an auctioneer. Alright, let's keep going. What about those graphics, right? For this creation, I turned to Etsy because, let's be honest, sometimes the easiest way to get what you need is to let somebody else do the hard work. I mean, I've got photo editing skills, sure, but when it comes to designing original art from scratch, well, those ideas tend to get lost somewhere between my brain and my hands. So my water slide is printed. I'll go seal it and let it dry, and then I'm going to cut it into a square. Since I used a white decal, I don't have to paint on my pour. The white I wanted is on the decal. And the best part? Instead of slapping down the decal onto the paint, I'll lay down a coat of epoxy first. This smooths out the surface, preventing some pesky adhesion issues that I ran into with the previous attempts. See? Improvement, it's happening. I may not be a paint pouring pro just yet, but hey, growth is growth, right? Here you can see me putting epoxy into my resiner's bubble remover. Honestly, I really didn't need to do that. This epoxy is pretty darn good on its own. I was just experimenting, but here's the plot twist. I was actually surprised to find that the epoxy did better without this little timeout in the vacuum chamber. Instead of bubbles being sucked out, I watched as new bubbles appeared like party crashers. Being able to skip this step makes me happy. I feel like I also upgraded my epoxy on this pour. I saw a lot of creators using this total boat, so I figured maybe it's about time that I try it. And wouldn't you know it, at the exact same time, it was on sale. I'm choosing to believe that that was synchronous. You know, the universe giving me a little nudge. Decision made. I was so impressed, I ended up posting about it. Do you guys have a favorite epoxy? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to show you the biggest issue that I'm trying to correct. See those edges right there and right there? That's what I want to get rid of. I've got plans for that pesky edge, but first I want to visualize my creation before it's done. That was simple enough. I just uploaded an image of what I had so far into my Cricut design space and put it on my canvas. Why Cricut, you ask? This is where the vinyl comes in. I found a quote that fits beautifully with this project. Choose what makes your heart bloom. Perfect, right? Having my project on my Cricut canvas was a game changer. It made it so much easier to plan the font, pick the right vinyl color, and decide on the perfect size and placement for the words. Here you can see me weeding my vinyl and getting it onto transfer paper so it's all set for installation when I'm ready. Time for the water slide. Now I let the epoxy dry for about 2 days before I went to this process, but look at that. It's going on like a butter. Beautiful. My creation is starting to take shape and I see the end in sight.
there's those edges. I hummed and hawed and tried to think about how I'm going to cover them till I came up with a solution. I'm going to use glass. See these nice little pieces of glass? I arranged them around on top of that edge. The colors were perfect. They just happened to be in my craft room, so I figured, why not?
How am I going to put them on there? Should I glue them?
Well, UV resin, of course. So off I went. UV resin all the way around, and it worked wonderfully. The glass pieces attached to the painting really well with the UV resin, and it was kind of satisfying just to feel how smooth the texture was on the painting and then run your fingers over the glass. I could have stopped here, but I couldn't get over the fact that that quote was just so fitting for the image, and so that's where the vinyl came in, right? That vinyl that we cut before, it's time to put it on top. Nice smooth epoxy is such a satisfying surface to install vinyl on. It went on so easily and looks great. Here we go, one final coat of epoxy. This is going to seal on the vinyl and solidify the glass pieces even more. And the moment of truth, we've come to the end. Let's take a look at this. Oh, I think I really like it. It worked really, really well. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've had a blast sharing this with all of you. Hopefully it sparked some inspiration. Whether you try this method yourself or give those old projects a fresh, creative twist, who knows? You might just stumble upon something totally fun and unexpected. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you enjoyed this, go ahead, help me out. Smash that like button, gently or not. That's your choice. Drop me a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
As always, I'll see you when the next art attack strikes.